Welcome back to Alchemy of Dreams. I'm so glad you're here with me today. Whether you're on your morning commute, taking a break, or just unwinding at home, today's topic is one that touches all of us at some point in our lives: finding our purpose and passion. You know, in a world that's constantly pulling us in different directions, it's easy to feel a little lost. We have so many responsibilities, expectations, and goals that sometimes we forget to ask ourselves the most important questions: what really matters to me, and what makes me feel truly alive? If you're here right now, you might be searching for something more, something deeper than just the daily grind. And trust me, you're not alone. So many of us go through life feeling like we're just going through the motions, waiting for that spark, that moment of clarity when everything makes sense. But here's the thing: finding your purpose and passion isn't always about having one grand epiphany. It's a journey, one that involves exploring, reflecting, and sometimes just trying new things to see what lights you up inside. In today's episode, we're going to take a little adventure together. We'll dive into what purpose and passion really mean and why they're so vital for our happiness and fulfillment. We'll explore practical ways to uncover what makes you tick, and I'll share some stories and examples of people who found their way, not because they had it all figured out from the start, but because they dared to ask themselves those important questions. Now, I know the idea of finding your purpose can sound a bit overwhelming. It's like this big, elusive concept that we're all chasing. But let's break it down into something more tangible, something we can actually work with. Because your purpose isn't necessarily about having it all mapped out or sticking to one path for the rest of your life. It's more like a compass that guides you, a sense of direction that helps you make choices aligned with what truly matters to you. And passion? Well, passion is the fuel that keeps us going. It's those moments when you're doing something that makes you forget about time. It's what excites you, challenges you, and gives you that spark of joy. So, how do we find it? How do we figure out what sets our soul on fire, especially when life is so busy? Today, we're going to go step by step, starting with self-reflection. Because before we can find our purpose, we need to understand ourselves better. I'll share some simple exercises you can do to dig deeper into what you love, what you value, and what you're naturally drawn to. Then, we'll talk about the importance of exploring and experimenting. Sometimes, our passions aren't obvious right away, and that's perfectly okay. It's about being open to trying new things, stepping out of your comfort zone, and seeing where that journey takes you. We'll also tackle some common misconceptions about purpose and passion. Like the idea that your purpose is something you find once and then you're set for life. In reality, it's often something that evolves with you. Your experiences, your challenges, and your growth all shape it over time. So, if you've ever felt like you're searching for something more but aren't quite sure what that more is, this episode is for you. By the end of our time together, I hope you'll feel a little more inspired and a lot more equipped to start, or continue, your own journey of discovery. Grab a cup of coffee, get comfy, and let's dive in. Together, we're going to explore the path to finding your purpose and passion, one step at a time. Alright, let's get started. Alright, now that we've set the stage for our journey into finding purpose and passion, let's dive a little deeper. Before we jump into the practical steps, it's important to understand what we mean by purpose and passion, and why they're so important. Let's start with purpose. Imagine purpose as your inner compass, guiding you toward what feels meaningful and fulfilling in your life. It's not necessarily one specific job or role, it's more like an underlying theme that connects everything you do. For some people, purpose might be about helping others, creating something beautiful, or learning and teaching. It's deeply personal and can look different for everyone. Now, passion is the spark, the excitement you feel when you're doing something you love. It's those activities or pursuits that make you feel energized and alive. Passion often emerges from the things you naturally enjoy or are curious about. Maybe it's painting, cooking, solving problems, or even something as simple as making people laugh. Whatever it is, passion is what gives you the drive to keep going, even when things get tough. Here's an important point: your purpose and passion don't have to be grand or world-changing. They can be simple and personal. Sometimes, we get caught up in thinking that finding our purpose means we have to change the world in a big way. But in reality, your purpose could be about creating a loving environment for your family, making your community a little brighter, or simply being the best version of yourself. So why do these concepts matter? Well, when we feel connected to our purpose and passion, life just feels more aligned. We start to make choices that resonate with who we truly are, rather than what others expect of us. And that's where the magic happens. It doesn't mean that everything becomes easy, but it does give us a sense of direction and fulfillment. It's like having a lighthouse to guide us through the foggy, uncertain moments. But finding purpose and passion isn't always straightforward, and that's okay. It's a journey, one that involves a bit of soul-searching, a willingness to try new things, and sometimes, a lot of patience. Many of us go through phases where we're unsure or feel stuck. That's completely normal. What matters is that we remain open to exploring and learning more about ourselves along the way. In this next section, we'll break down some practical steps you can take to start discovering, or rediscovering, what brings you joy and meaning. We'll explore self-reflection exercises that can help you get in touch with your core values and interests. We'll also talk about the importance of trying new things and how taking small, brave steps can lead to big discoveries about what truly excites and fulfills you. So, whether you're feeling a little lost right now or just looking to deepen your sense of purpose, remember this: it's a process. And every step you take on this journey, no matter how small, is a step toward living a life that's more aligned with who you are. Ready to get started? Let's dive into the first step, self-reflection. Alright, let's dive into the first step of this journey, self-reflection. This is all about taking a closer look at ourselves, our interests, values, and what truly matters to us. You see, finding your purpose and passion often starts from within. It's not about what others expect of you or what society says you should be doing. It's about connecting with your authentic self. So, how do we start this process of self-reflection? Well, a good place to begin is by asking yourself some simple yet powerful questions. These questions aren't meant to have right or wrong answers. Instead, they're designed to help you get in touch with your true feelings and desires. For instance, you might ask yourself, what activities make me lose track of time? This question can reveal your natural interests and passions, those things that you get so absorbed in that hours fly by without you even noticing. Think about the times when you felt truly engaged and alive. What were you doing? Who were you with? How did it make you feel? Another great question is, what do I value most in life? Our values are like a compass, guiding us toward what feels meaningful. Maybe you value creativity, helping others, learning, or adventure. Identifying your core values can help you understand what drives you and what you want to prioritize in your life. Journaling can be an incredibly helpful tool during this process. Set aside a few minutes each day to write down your thoughts in response to these questions. You don't have to write pages and pages, just jot down whatever comes to mind. Over time, you might start to notice patterns or recurring themes in your answers. These can be clues pointing you toward your purpose and passion. Now, here's a fun little exercise you can try. Think back to your childhood. What did you love to do when you were a kid? Often, our childhood interests and hobbies can give us insight into our natural passions before life got more complicated. Maybe you loved drawing, exploring nature, building things, or telling stories. Ask yourself, how can I bring a piece of that joy back into my life now? It's important to be kind and patient with yourself during this process. Self-reflection isn't about finding all the answers right away. It's about being curious and open to learning more about who you are. And sometimes, it can be helpful to talk to someone you trust, a friend, family member, or mentor, who can offer an outside perspective on your strengths and what they see as your natural talents. Remember, this journey is uniquely yours. It's not about fitting into a specific mold or following a set path. It's about exploring what resonates with you and what makes you feel truly alive. In the next part, we'll talk about exploration and experimentation, how trying new things and stepping out of your comfort zone can lead you to discover new passions and, ultimately, get you closer to finding your purpose. But for now, take some time to reflect on these questions. Write them down, think about them, and see what insights come up for you. This step is all about getting to know yourself better, so embrace it with an open heart. You might be surprised by what you discover. Now that we've spent some time reflecting on our interests, values, and what brings us joy, let's move on to the next crucial step, exploration and experimentation. This step is all about taking action and opening yourself up to new experiences. Because sometimes, the best way to find out what you're passionate about is to try different things and see what resonates with you. Think of this phase as a bit like being an explorer in your own life. You don't have to commit to one path right away. Instead, give yourself the freedom to experiment with different activities, hobbies, or even new ways of thinking. This could mean signing up for a class you've always been curious about, like painting, cooking, coding, or even something completely out of your comfort zone like improv or public speaking. The key here is to approach these new experiences with an open mind and a sense of curiosity. You might be thinking, what if I try something and it doesn't work out? And that's totally okay. The goal here isn't to be perfect at everything you try. It's about discovering what excites you and what doesn't. Each experience, whether it's a success or a flop, teaches you something valuable about yourself. It helps you refine what you enjoy and what aligns with your sense of purpose. A great way to start is by making a curiosity list. This is simply a list of things you've always wanted to explore or things that intrigue you, no matter how small or silly they might seem. Maybe you've always been curious about gardening, writing poetry, learning a new language, or volunteering for a cause you care about. Write it all down, and then pick one or two things to start exploring. Another approach is to get involved in different communities or groups. Sometimes, being around like-minded people can spark new interests or passions that you hadn't considered before. Look for local clubs, online communities, or meetups where you can connect with others who share similar interests. Not only can this help you learn new skills, but it can also give you a sense of belonging and inspiration. And let's not forget the importance of being patient and kind to yourself during this process. Exploration isn't about finding instant answers. It's about giving yourself permission to play, to make mistakes, and to learn along the way. Your purpose and passion might not reveal themselves in a neat, straightforward manner. They might show up unexpectedly in the midst of trying something new or when you're not even actively searching for them. Here's a small challenge for you. Over the next week, pick one new activity from your curiosity list and give it a go. Maybe it's a weekend workshop, an evening class, or just an hour spent learning something new at home. Observe how it makes you feel. Do you enjoy it? Does it make you want to learn more? Use these experiences as stepping stones to uncover what truly sparks joy in you. Remember, this is your journey. There's no rush to figure it all out. Sometimes, the process of exploring and experimenting can be just as fulfilling as finding the passion itself. And the best part? Each new experience brings you a little closer to understanding what lights you up inside. In the next segment, we'll talk about embracing change and the evolution of purpose, how your passions and purpose can change over time and why that's not just okay but a natural part of your personal growth. For now, embrace this phase of exploration with a sense of wonder. Who knows what exciting discoveries are waiting just around the corner? So, we've talked about self-reflection and exploring new experiences, which are fantastic ways to start finding what really excites and fulfills you. But there's another important aspect of this journey we need to discuss, the idea that your purpose and passion can evolve over time. And you know what? That's perfectly okay. Let's think about it this way: as we go through different stages of life, we change. Our experiences shape us, our values might shift, and what excites us today might look different from what excited us a few years ago. And that's a beautiful thing. It means we're growing, learning, and constantly discovering new layers of ourselves. Sometimes, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to find the one thing that we're meant to do forever. But here's the truth: your purpose isn't necessarily fixed. It can change as you change. Maybe right now, your purpose is to explore your creative side. A few years down the road, it might shift towards something like teaching, mentoring, or starting a project that helps your community. Each phase is valuable and contributes to your overall journey. Think about some of the people who inspire you. Many of them didn't stick to just one path. Take Oprah Winfrey, for example. She started as a news anchor, then became a talk show host, and later evolved into an entrepreneur and philanthropist. Her purpose seemed to grow and adapt as she did. Or J.K. Rowling, who went from being an unemployed single mother to a successful author and now uses her platform to support various charitable causes. Their journeys show us that purpose is not a destination but a constantly evolving journey. So, how do we embrace this idea of change? First, let's release the pressure to have everything figured out. It's okay if your passions shift or if you find yourself interested in something new. This doesn't mean you've lost your way, it means you're growing and expanding your horizons. Secondly, practice being open to where life takes you. Sometimes, opportunities arise that we never expected. Maybe a job change, a new relationship, or even a challenge pushes us in a direction we hadn't considered before. Instead of resisting these changes, try asking yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this new direction help me grow? Remember, every experience adds to your story. The skills you develop, the people you meet, and the lessons you learn all contribute to shaping your purpose. Even if something doesn't work out as planned, it can still provide valuable insights that guide you toward your next step. And here's a comforting thought: you don't have to do it all at once. Purpose can show up in different forms throughout your life. It might be in your career, your relationships, your hobbies, or even in the small moments where you make a difference in someone's day. It's about finding what feels meaningful to you at this moment and being open to how that might change over time. In the next part, we'll wrap things up and talk about how to stay connected to your sense of purpose and passion in your daily life. We'll also share some simple practices you can incorporate to keep that spark alive, even when things get tough. But for now, take a deep breath and give yourself permission to evolve. Your journey is uniquely yours, and it's perfectly okay if it takes you down unexpected paths. In fact, that's where some of the most fulfilling discoveries are made. So, we've explored self-reflection, tried new things, and embraced the idea that our purpose and passion can evolve. Now, let's talk about how to stay connected to that sense of purpose in our daily lives. Because let's face it, life can get busy, and it's easy to lose sight of what really matters to us in the hustle and bustle. One of the best ways to keep that spark alive is by integrating small, meaningful practices into your daily routine. These don't have to be grand gestures, they can be simple actions that remind you of what you love and why you're on this journey. For example, if you've discovered that helping others brings you a sense of purpose, find small ways to do that every day. It could be as simple as offering a kind word to a coworker, volunteering a few hours a month, or even just listening attentively to a friend in need. Another powerful practice is gratitude. Taking a few moments each day to reflect on what you're grateful for can help you stay connected to your values and passions. Maybe you're grateful for a moment of creativity you experienced, a meaningful conversation, or an opportunity that aligned with your purpose. By acknowledging these moments, you reinforce their importance in your life and keep that sense of purpose at the forefront of your mind. It can also be incredibly helpful to set aside dedicated time for the things that matter to you. Life can be full of distractions and demands, so it's important to carve out moments for your passions and interests. Whether it's setting aside 30 minutes each morning to write, taking a class on the weekends, or scheduling regular meetups with a community group that inspires you, make it a priority. These small commitments can make a big difference in keeping you connected to what truly lights you up. Mindfulness is another tool that can help you stay grounded in your purpose. When we're mindful, we're more present in the moment and more aware of our actions and choices. Try to incorporate a few minutes of mindfulness into your day, whether it's through meditation, a mindful walk, or simply paying attention to your breath. This practice can help you tune into your feelings and keep you aligned with your true self. And let's not forget the importance of revisiting your journey regularly. Every now and then, take some time to reflect on where you are and how you feel. Ask yourself, am I still on a path that feels meaningful to me? Have my interests or passions shifted? It's perfectly normal for your answers to change over time. By checking in with yourself, you can adjust and adapt, ensuring that you're always moving in a direction that feels right for you. Lastly, be gentle with yourself. Some days will be easier than others, and there will be times when you feel disconnected or unsure. That's all part of the process. Purpose and passion are not destinations you reach once and then you're done, they are ongoing parts of your life's journey. Celebrate the small wins, the moments of clarity, and even the moments of doubt, because they all contribute to your growth. As we wrap up this episode, remember that finding and staying connected to your purpose and passion is a unique, personal journey. It's okay if it takes time and if it evolves. What's important is that you're taking steps, however small, to live a life that feels true to you. Thank you for joining me today on Alchemy of Dreams. I hope this episode has given you some inspiration and practical tools to explore your own path to purpose and passion. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to share it with someone who might benefit from it. Until next time, keep exploring, keep dreaming, and remember, your journey is uniquely yours, and that's what makes it beautiful.